What is going on, everybody? We're back on at One Piece 483. Got some major developments at the end of last episode. Until they show me different, it looks like Ace has been killed here. They've set it up for it to be that way. And it just kind of felt like either him or Whitebeard were going to go the whole time this arc has been building. Not each of them. Honestly, Ace is the one that's been getting the flashbacks. We've been seeing Whitebeard like through the lens of Ace's flashbacks. We weren't really getting like, we had a couple young Whitebeard flashbacks, but this was really, it's hard to say. Like, would you say this arc was an Ace development arc? Because if you really think about it, we haven't spent time with Ace. The characters that us as a viewer have really built up time with up till this whole last like 2.5 arcs in a row has just been the Straw Hat group. All of them and their crazy like depressing backstories and how they came to be and why we choose to fight for them and why they choose to fight. Like, they've been given arcs of like, you know, like Zoro's gotten, I feel like there's more to Zoro's story, but everybody's gotten like a real good flashback. Like, we saw Kid Sanji, we saw where Chopper came from, we saw how Nico Robin came to be. We saw how Usopp and what Frankie's gone through and Nico Robin and helping her, and like there's just all this build up and build up and build up. And aside from Ace being Luffy's brother, I feel like us as a viewer really haven't gotten much of a reason to really be invested or care for Ace as much as like they did with like the Straw Hat crew. Now, you know, he's gotten a little more screen time than most, but we haven't sailed the seas with him. We haven't gotten 50 to 100 plus something episodes of him through different arcs and seeing how he reacts to certain situations. It's just been we've just got little kid Ace flashbacks. And then the little bit that we've seen of like how he came to be in Whitebeard's possession, and then the little bit from there. Other than that, there really hasn't been much to really bond or connect with Ace wise, in my opinion. So it's wild to me that like he might be dead here. I wouldn't say it's like a plot point. I guess it is a plot point. But it's really interesting. It's like one of them is going to go here for sure. Like, I feel like the pirate world is going to change here, but both of them could go, because like before what happened to Ace here at the end of last episode, which again still TBD. But if I had to bet, I'm going to assume he's going to be dying here. Whitebeard isn't coming out of this either. Now I do want to see Whitebeard's reaction to this, because I think they should. I mean, we didn't see every character, but every character that was almost worth a damn, they put the camera on them like quick, just boom, 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 and they didn't put it on Whitebeard. So I would like to see his reaction in that. And yeah, it's hard to like, you know, really draw a connection to Ace really as far as from a viewer standpoint, because we've got so little of him. Like, I feel like we've got more character development and more time with Garp, honestly. Like, I've got more of a connection to Garp as a viewer than I do with Ace. But aside from all that, whether you feel like you've got a strong enough connection to Ace, and if he dies here, like, how does that feel like you as a viewer? You know, get rid of all that, toss it all aside. What really comes down to this, in my opinion, if Ace truly does die here, what does that mean? What does that mean for Luffy? And then what does that turn Luffy into going forward? Does he go on like a dark Batman revenge story, like just killing his way through different like fodder marines, killing captains and vice admirals until he can get his hands on Sakazuki here and kill him with his own bare hands? Does he just fall into like a state of depression? Like what becomes of that? That's honestly what I'm most interested in, is Luffy's mental and Luffy's character from this point on. Like, is he going to be like the happy-go-lucky? Because we've seen before, like, he would get a little bit words of Ace of like what's going on, and he'd be like, you know, Ace is on his journey, I'm on mine. And then we saw that like we saw him getting the word of him being executed. That flipped the switch. Like, I got to even put my crew. Like, they got to go on standby. I've got to go get him. So does Luffy just kind of like, is he still going to be like the giggling, laughing, you know, I want food, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know his personality up to this point. Is he still going to be, are they just going to keep his personality the same, and he's just going to kind of like laugh through it to like hide the pain? Or does this like truly change him? Like, does he become cold? Like, how does it go? Like, you know, does he go, like I said, does he go on a revenge mission? Because a lot of characters you think in, you know, stories of like, you know, Sasuke is going to get his revenge, and, you know, he's dialed in, and all these other characters that kind of grew up on tragedy happened to me young. So that turned me to like what I've been going for going forward, you know? So that's probably what I'm most interested in, is what does this do to Luffy as a character? Because I'll be the first to die on that hill that like he just doesn't take things seriously ever. Even up to like almost the moments and up till the point that we got here. And then it kind of feels like, well, damn, we went through all the Amazon Lily, Impel Down, all this crazy arc, and Ace still dies anyway. So it was all for nothing. I kind of like it to a point of like the main characters don't always have to win. Like Luffy doesn't always have to win. You know, he can lose and suffer loss, and it's been stacking up here. Since the archipelago to losing his crew to not being able to rescue anybody, like he's just been losing. But none of it felt like really big losses in my opinion, because us as a viewer, we know the crew's okay. So it's like, okay, it's not really a loss, it's more of like a little bit of a step back. This here though, if he dies, is truly a loss. So Luffy turns into what after this? And then the question is, okay, what does he turn into? And then what does it take to ever, I guess, turn him back to the Luffy that we're used to seeing in the first 500 episodes? Or does this just change him forever? Like, I'm sure he's still gonna, I don't know, maybe he does end up killing Sakazuki at some point. I don't know. Say he does, or he gets his revenge, or whatever he feels like. I'm sure that we're going to see like the happy-go-lucky Luffy that likes to eat food and hang out and doesn't take things serious and wants to go on an adventure and find the One Piece and hang with his crew. I'm sure we'll still get those moments, but I'm curious if like it'll never be, like never ever be what it was. Like from episode 483 on, or whenever Ace's fate is decided. I'm curious if Luffy will just never be the same again, and that's fine too. I'm just curious like what the story, like are we going to go that route or are we not? And then thinking of it from like a landscape thing here of like what it's going to do, how this changes the pirate world. Like the Marines were able to take out Whitebeard and essentially his crew. That's a massive blow for the pirate world, and it's a massive get for the world government and the Marines, in my opinion. So then what happens to the pirate world going forward? Like, you know how they keep talking about this great pirate era, you know, there's this great boom going on right now, like people going out there to find the One Piece and yada, it's out there. I'm curious if this like quells the pirate era for a while, like you don't see pirates really going crazy. Some of them give up they're like, oh shit, if Whitebeard can be taken out, I can't go out and do it. So I'm wondering if piracy kind of like takes a hit for a while, and like who kind of fills that vacant seat? Blackbeard? And then there's so much to talk about after this of like what becomes of Blackbeard and what he did, what becomes of Boa and what she did, and there's just so much. So let's get through this. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Here we go. And we were calling it, bro. Sakazuki and Doflamingo were on my 2 shit list of like, okay, who they're gonna fuck up. I think I need to have a Sea Prism Handcuff live stream. Because, okay, we've established that they really make Devil's Fruit users weak. So weak to the point that they can't flex and bust out of it. What do they do to Haki, though? What do they do to Haki? You're telling me some of the biggest, baddest characters in the land that have Conqueror's level Haki and Devil's Fruits, you slap a pair of handcuffs on them and they might as well be a toddler? Like they can't even activate their Haki or what? You tell me Marco can't use his Haki to get that other cuff off of him or what? And y'all just gonna stand there? I still can't believe that we got baited, by the way. Oh shit, here we go. I still can't believe we got baited into this. Did he bring the video? They're trying to get it off of him. Oh my god. Can anybody not break that? Oh, Mr. 3. I just can't wrap my head around that. The handcuffs just do that. Hockey users included. It'd be like if the Dragon Ball universe had something that just like turned all like ki off. Like you're telling me we've got Planet Busters, but like we can't get this handcuff off. Like what is happening, man? I'm never gonna get over that. I'm 500 episodes in, and I'm never gonna get over the concept of the C prism ever. Oh wow, they had the camera on it. Oh shit. Oh shit. And I got confirmation that the handcuffs that Rayleigh like used his hockey to break out of weren't C prism, so that's fine. But I still need answers. You made him pay. Guys, you can't even hit him. What are we doing? He's standing there perfectly fine. Like, why are we even... Exactly. What are we doing? And he was able to burn Ace. So can... And that's a whole other question. Is like, Devil's Fruits of the same element affecting similar elemental Devil's Fruit users is kind of crazy to me. Of like, where that lies of like, what counts and what doesn't count. As like being able to affect somebody. So those that can produce flames, can they all burn each other separately or what? Let's say Ace was able to hit him. Could he burn him or no? I don't know. Jeez, Ace and Whitebeard with these bowling ball size holes in their chest. Somebody gonna do something about this? Look how close we are. Oh shit. Bro, Whitebeard's had his guard down the entire time, guys. I don't even know if it's his guard down more so that he just can't do anything. Like he's just that old. Jinbei! Palmed it. And how's he making physical... Sheesh. Jinbei, has he been the biggest MVP from Impel Down to here? It's definitely up for debate. Please hurry and get these damn cuffs off. Every time that I see the C Prism cuffs on screen and they're affecting a character, it triggers me. Please take the cuffs off and get it out of my face. Is he leaving? Is Garp leaving? Or is he... Oh no, he's walking up to this. I couldn't tell if he was walking away from that platoon or towards it. What's the play here? What does he do? I don't know. Everybody's walk. What? You didn't even know what he was about to do. You didn't even know what he was about to do. Maybe it's Garp that'll kill Sakazuki for revenge. Because it's different. It's different if he's executed other than Sakazuki just walking up there and murdering him. It's a different vibe, you know? Jinbei can't handle this, though, by the way. So, again, we're back in the same situation we were about 10 episodes ago. What's the play? Okay, here we go. That's helpful. We know they can make contact with him too, because we've seen him make contact with an admiral before. Guys, why did we not Haki infuse that? Why did he just eat that? Oh no. How did he not sustain damage right there? I'm curious, like they definitely made contact, and we've seen the two of them hit Haki users before, hit Logia users before. Why did we go through him right there? I don't know. I don't know. There's so many levels to it that I don't even know where to begin. And he's dying in Luffy's arms? What is this gonna do to him as a character? This is gonna be bad. I don't know what's gonna happen to Luffy's character after this. Can Ivankov do anything? I don't think this is savable. And like Luffy went through all that for nothing. We did all of that for nothing. He's dying. I'm curious if we see the card burn out before we see him like fall over. Anything? I mean, it's worth a shot. It's worth a try. Ivankov, you got anything? I mean, bro, the wound is a bowling ball hole from one end to the other. Like, how do you treat that? There's no, like, unless you've got a devil's fruit that heals. I don't even know if Chopper or the old lady back on Drum Island could do anything about this. Is there anything that Ivankov could do to hormones or anything wise to, like, stop the bleeding or at least anything, or no? His organs have been burned. Yeah. I'm curious to what does this do to Luffy in the moment? That's what I was thinking. Maybe Ivankov could inject something, but like inject what? Like do what? It's worth a shot of anything. It's so fucked. You're gonna tell him that he can't make it after he went through all of that. I'm curious what this does to Luffy in the moment. Does he just fucking go berserker mode right here? Does he just go guts in the berserker armor here, just blacked out eyeballs and starts going crazy, Conqueror's level Haki spewing everywhere? Or does he just like totally just freeze up? I don't know. And it's so wild that like everybody's right. I felt like we were so far separated away from each other. Everybody's like right in the same little bubble of like 10 yards. Is there really nothing at all? There's no life for a life sacrifice? What's happening? What is that? Is that the flame within him burning out, or what am I looking at here? It's so wild because his backstory makes for a perfect main character, by the way. Which I guess is a little cliche. Oh, like Gold Roger's long lost son as the main character. We didn't see that coming. But the way that the mother was able to delay that and everything would have been. I mean, it's a solid main character. I feel like we didn't get enough time with Ace on screen. I feel like we could have gotten a little arc of just him. And why are these grown men picking on a kid, by the way? Well, it's not looking good. What was the age he got his hands on the devil's fruit? Does he have it at this time? I'm going to assume no. Or like he said, he would have been killing these people. Is all this being broadcasted too? The repercussions of what's happening today in this world is gonna be crazy. What does Whitebeard do in the moment of rage? Flashbacks to them as kids. And then we didn't even take it to it, you know, we were thinking of like Luffy on his revenge mission and shit, right? You know, Sakazuki, just like Garp said, like, I'll kill him, you know? Hold on, before we even get into that. We think, speaking of Sakazuki, what rage and revenge mission do we have in our hearts towards Blackbeard? And getting us captured and shit. I guess we did seek out Blackbeard, so maybe, but still, I mean, you could put rage towards anybody. In their primes, is Goku stopping Garp, by the way? Like, could he keep him pinned down? Could they even do it now? I don't know. They're also playing a soundtrack we've never heard before. Yeah, definitely haven't heard this OST. This is one of the better OSTs. I so wish that we could have rolled up with some of the other 4 emperors, or at least one of them. Or extra fishmen backup, or the Revolutionary Front, or something. We just had a little more juice, bro. We came in so short-handed. What could we even do? The fact that we made it this far is wild as hell, but man, we just didn't have enough juice. We just didn't have enough. We never had enough the whole time. Now, if this is Prime Whitebeard, then sure, we have enough. But we just didn't have enough. But I didn't think it was... it was going to result in both of them dying. I did not think Ace and Whitebeard were both going to die. This is gonna crush him. Now, does he think that about himself because Roger? Yeah. And it's so hard to like know what Roger is or was, because we get such skewed history of him. We get the history from the side that won, which is the Marines. So Ace just has that to go off of. I think he's really gonna die. I wish we would have gotten more screen time. I wish we would have just gotten like one little more arc of him not imprisoned. Like, I'm curious if the only reason he thinks badly about himself is because of what he's heard Roger was. Or was/is. Even Whitebeard's crying. Like, I truly hope Ace didn't feel that about himself. Truly. But maybe he did, even to the end. Like, that was really a big burden on his mind. Like, did he deserve to be born? Does he even deserve to essentially be loved, have friends, have loved ones, etc.? Yeah. The card fully burned out. And what makes it so fucked, not only was it like in front of Luffy, like he could see it, he died in his arms. He died in his arms. With a smile on his face. I don't know if there's going to be like a Gon rage moment here. If he's just going to sit there just completely broken. And then what happens now? Because that was the whole operation of all this, was to get him and get out. And he's dead and we're still in. So like, what do we do? Does like Jinbei and the others just grab Luffy and we just leave? And that's how they ended. What do you do? I don't know. Like how do you even? I mean, that's a whole different discussion for another time. So I think that is the first like official death that we've had in the story. Almost 500 episodes in. I'm trying to think back. All of the past warlords that we fought. Crocodile is fine. The guy that blew himself up in Alabasta. I'm pretty sure Rob Lucci's still alive. I'm trying to think of any big fights. Enru said, screw this, I'm out. I think this is the first official death we've had in the story. And it's a big one, especially for how much it's connected to the main character. It'd be different if it's like, oh, one of the Whitebeard's captains died, but the implications that it has. And again, like I said, all of it comes down to, what does that mean for Luffy as a character going forward? Like we were talking about in the pre-show discussion. I'm curious if we'll ever get like that Luffy again. Like from like episode 483 is like a big turning point for him. There's pre-Luffy 483 and there's Luffy pre-Ace's death and Luffy post-Ace's death. I'm I'm curious if like in here himself is ever going to be the same. Like I said, I'm sure the crew's going to get back together. Maybe it takes another 100, 200, 300 something episodes. I'm sure that they're all going to be on a ship together sailing again. So I'm sure when that comes, there will be like laughing moments and where's my food and Chopper doing something funny and Usopp, and like I'm sure we'll get those moments. But I'm curious if it's going to like feel the same and if Luffy will ever be the same. And then if there is a time period where he could return to that, and again, he might not, because he's never going to get that back. No matter if he goes and kills the entire world government, like he'll never get Ace back. It might relieve some of the pain, but it's never going to change like in here. He'll never be able to like wipe away the moment that just happened to him. But I'm curious, like if there was a chance that he could achieve that as a personality, as a character development, like what would it take? And again, because One Piece doesn't kill characters like that up until this point, I just don't see him like, unless they just the tonal shift of the entire show changes, I just don't see him getting his hands on like, you know, he kills Sakazuki, he kills Garp, you know, he gets his hands on Okaji, Kizaru, Blackbeard, like he just goes on this like Game of Thrones Aya, like I gotta, like he fucking recites names as he goes to bed every night because he has a kill list of who he's gonna take out for what they did to his brother. Like I mean the story could, but I just don't see it doing that. So like so since he's not gonna go on a John Wick killing spree, what is it that the story can do for him, or what is it that Luffy can do to get closure? What can happen to him so that he can heal? You know, he'll never forget it. But what will it take for him to like forgive himself for like not being strong enough to be able to save him? What will it take for him to like ease his mind where he doesn't go to sleep every night thinking about like Ace dying in his arms and him being able to do nothing about it? What is it going to take to erase the image of Sakazuki killing his brother in front of his eyes? Like, what would it take for Luffy to like attempt to live a normal life? I don't know what that would take. Like, again, does he have to kill Sakazuki? Like, that's the only thing in the story like gives us that? Then maybe that's it. But I just don't see them turning Luffy into this killer. You know, I don't think he's gonna go Eren Yeager on us. So I'm just curious, like what does the story do for him to try to move on from this? And now again, this is very fresh, so like I don't expect that we're what 483. I don't expect Luffy to be right mentally till maybe 583, 683. So I don't know how much time is gonna need to pass in the story, or how many episodes. It could take a couple hundred. But I'm just curious if they give him that moment to get mental closure. So I don't know. Ace is truly gone. And we sat there and we debated like what does it mean for this side to win? If they just get Ace and get out, is that a win? And that's what it looked like it was going there. In my opinion, Whitebeard's not making it out of here still, by the way. So this is a massive victory for the world government. You took out Ace, which you thought, you know, we'd take out Ace, Whitebeard might show up, but if we take him out, you know, it's a blow to Whitebeard. It does make him a little bit weaker. But you get to take out the King of the Seas himself at the same time. You couldn't ask for a better script. The script writers were going crazy with this, that you got to take out Whitebeard at the same. Screw Ace, like we could. If Ace got out of here, sure, fine, whatever. But if we could have taken out Whitebeard, that is massive. So again, we are, you know, Ace's death and all. We're kind of back to where we were about 10, 15 episodes ago of like, how are we getting out of here? Because it was all for nothing. Like you could say, oh, that's not a good way to look at it, you know. Think about, but honestly, what did we gain along the way? We didn't gain a new power. What did we gain? Some friendship, I guess, with Jinbei and Ivankov. But so many people died. Well, from what we saw, it looked like Marines were dying and Whitebeard's crew were dying. I don't know if I can say that because I don't have confirmation, but I would assume that so many people died here, and the guy that we came to rescue still died anyway, and Whitebeard died. So it was, not only was it all for nothing, we came out so much worse than we did going into this. Like, this is bad. This is worst case scenario. You lost a ton of men. You weren't able to rescue Ace, and he was killed, and Whitebeard died. The absolute worst case scenario possible. So now it's does like Ivankov and Jinbei and Marco and like some of the other named guys, do they just like pull Luffy up off the ground and just straight run? And Whitebeard like kind of rages behind so they can get out, and he just dies alongside Ace, and it's just like, my God, that was hopeless and horrible. Because that's what it's looking like right now. Now again, Fishman army riding on the backs of sea monsters, or the Revolutionary Army, or I don't know, somebody showing up to maybe help us get out. But even if that's the case, somebody rides in here on a white unicorn and helps us get out of here, the result's still the same. This is a terrible, massive, horrific loss. Like, we lost. There was no partial win. It was just awful. And it all circles back to now what becomes of Luffy's character, and what will it take for him to finally like mentally, not gonna say get over it, but mentally be at peace. I don't know what that's gonna take, because I don't know what the story is gonna allow for him to do. So we'll see. Rest in peace to Ace. I wish we would have gotten some more screen time of Ace, just because I feel like the backstory and everything, all of it is so interesting. The direct descendant of Gold Roger himself. I don't even know what you want to say it. Mentored by the King of the Seas himself, Whitebeard. I would have loved to have gotten a solid arc with Ace and Whitebeard, honestly. Now, I'm still hopeful that maybe we'll get a Whitebeard flashback when all this is said and done. Maybe not right now, but I feel like he's such an important character, such a crucial character to the timeline of the One Piece story itself, that I would like to see him on screen more, and how they choose to do that, if they choose to do that. But yeah, I wish we would have gotten more time with both of them. That's the only part I regret of like the death of it all, is they're such an interesting character. Both of them are such interesting characters and such strong characters in the story, that it sucks that they're both gonna die here. Like, I chalked up Whitebeard dying like 10 episodes ago. So we'll see. We will leave it there and see. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and as always,